Hello, and welcome to 2024's first feature of the month. Today we're talking RPZs, also known as response policy zones, and how it can make managing your DDI environment much easier and more secure. Let's get to it. Response policy zones, or RPZs, are a feature that's in Bind that allows DNS administrators to control what kind of response that they give to a client for a domain that they may not own. A most common use case for this is threat protection, like the one that BlueCat offers, which is a list of malicious zones that then we can return either a specific IP address to alert our security teams, NX domain it, and therefore the client doesn't try to connect, or not even respond at all and just give a timeout. So these are some of the functions that allow you to control how your clients connect. And so let's get into a demo that shows how to implement RPZs, what they look like, and how you can be successful using them. To implement a response policy zone, first we have to create a response policy. And to do that, we go to the DNS tab and then click Response Policy. We click on the plus sign to add a response policy. We're just going to call this FOTM RPZ policy. Now there's different types of response policies. The one we're going to be using is block list, but there is also black hole, which returns no data. There's also redirect, which can have clients go to get a DNS name that is internal, often used by a security team to see which clients have possibly hit malicious domains. And then there's the allow list, which will allow all DNS zones in that allow list out. So now that I've created the RPZ policy, let's go ahead and add an item. So I'm going to click a policy item. Now, normally, if you want all of the subdomains of a specific domain, then you put 2 asterisks. In this case, we're going to block google.com. So I click add, and now I have one policy. Now there's a couple ways that you can use RPZ policies. One is to upload policy items from a file. One caveat is that they are overwritten each time. So if you're going to do that, you have to keep an ongoing list and just keep updating as you add. Or you can manually add items here, or you can do it through the API. So now that I've created the policy, let's go ahead and create the zone. So I'm going to go back to the DNS tab, and under my view, you'll notice there's RP zones. So I'm going to click on here, create a response policy zone. Call it RPZ zone. And as you can see, since we only have one policy, it's enabled here. Now it's also possible to have a feed, which BlueCat does have for purchase, and it is a list of malicious domains and other types of domains that you may want to block, and it allows them to be updated through a zone transfer. But in this case, we're going to use local and our FOTM policy. So I click add, and now I have a zone. And just like a zone, I need to add a deployment role. So I'm going to add a server into it and click add. And now the next step is to deploy. Now that I've deployed my response policy zone and response policy, let's validate that it's working as expected. So to do that, I bring up a console. And first I'm going to dig at the server. for a test record that the server is authoritative for. And as you can see, I get the response expected. Now I'm going to dig for google.com. And now you'll see the answer is different. You can see I received an NX domain here, and you can see the zone that responded, which was my response policy zone, which is expected behavior. I can Google, or I can dig the rest of the internet, no problem, without affecting those results. Only the policy items get modified to NX domain. So that's a quick demonstration of how to use response policy zones and response policies to achieve different resolutions based on what is being queried. Thank you for joining me for January's Feature of the Month. I hope you enjoyed learning about response policies and response policy zones and have a better idea of how they can help you in your environment. Whether it's protecting your clients or just changing the way that queries flow, RPZs can be a very powerful tool for the DDI admin to have in their arsenal. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next month.